this is the yeah, it's about time. So this is the Greek surprise. The reason why it is a surprise is because I had no idea where will we be by the time we start a Zoom meeting, and that's because things are unpredictable, generally speaking, and things are even more unpredictable COVID times, because we had no idea if Greece will become red or orange or purple or any other color. And so we had no idea what's going on. And so now I can officially tell you where we are right now. I am here physically and you are virtually. We are in Delphi. Delphi, otherwise known as Delphi, one of the greatest centers of the antiquity, one of the greatest centers of the ancient world. And even more so, that was considered to be the belly button of the universe by the ancient Greek, of course. So welcome to Delphi. And well, you can see mostly me. And behind me, I hope you can see the Gulf of Corinthos. Well, I hope you can see.
Yes.
Yeah? Yep. All right. Now, I need you to speak once in a while. So, I will be, I need your support. So right behind me, some 15 kilometers or so, this is the Bay of Corinthos. Those of you familiar with architecture, you know that there is the Corinthian style of ancient architecture and mainly pillars. The way of decorating the capital of the pillar is named after a town called Corinthos, which is by the bay. And right behind me, this is the ancient port of Delphi, which is known as Kira. There is a hiking path connecting Delphi with Kira, but we have one car only, so we will not be hiking one way and then back. That's, the limits of one car. And between me and the bay, between me and Kira, this is the very fertile area, full of olive trees, olive groves, and everything here is served with olive oil and honey. I mean, this is the most basic. Normally when we speak of Greek cuisine, Greek food, we think of Greek salad and souvlaki. So actually it is Greek salad and honey. Like everything is served with honey, including the halloumi cheese. Like no matter what, you add some honey to it and it's better. So, so we have, So we have the Corinthos Bay, which is part of the Aegean Sea, which is part of the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. And we are here on the slope of a mount which is called Parnassus, which is the highest mount in Greece. And they even have a ski resort somewhere up there. And on the slope of this mount right next to me, there is the archaeological site, which I'm going to show you some photos of. Actually, I was hoping that we will be able to tour the ancient site of Delphi, which is indeed one of the most famous and important in ancient Greek world. But unfortunately, it is closed by 3:30 Greek time. And so it was impossible for us to visit together. So we went there, we took some photos, and I'm going to share these photos with you. Hopefully I will be able to do the share screen. If not, so I have my specialist here. Okay.
You should. You can share it from my end. I don't know. Hopefully.
Screen. No. It's okay. I did a share screen. Okay, just a sec. This is not ancient Delphi. All right. Okay, if I want to start from the beginning. Okay, so this is the map of Greece. What you have, you see there is a little red dot in the bottom of the map. So this dot is Athens. That's where we landed, and this is the capital, and this is where we are going to leave tomorrow afternoon. Unfortunately, I wish we could stay longer, but that's it. And Athens is red. I mean, in terms of COVID, and so the Acropolis and the museum, everything is closed, so we're not going to visit. So here we are in Delphi, and Delphi is here. I hope you can see this bigger blue dot. Ilana, guys, can you see it? The blue dot?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes, we can see it.
You could see it. Okay. So that's where we are. This is Delphi. And the pink circle circles a peninsula which is called Pelion, which has great significance in Greek mythology. And this is where we spent the last 5 days. I will say something about it later. But now you see that we are located a bit northwest of Athens. And since Greece is not a big place, it's bigger than Israel, but not huge. So it seems like a big distance, but actually it's about 2.5 hours drive only from here to Athens. So yeah, well, this is something everybody who toured Greece or Eastern Europe, you should be familiar with it. It's like a tiny little shrine. It's a tiny little prayer house. I mean, it's located by the roads every few kilometers, and the idea is that you can stop your car, just step out, light a candle for your, the saint you love most, for Virgin Mary, whoever. You can leave a note, you can leave a photo, you can leave a donation, and then you simply drive away, and that keeps you safe. And this is very, very common. Like, they have different colors, different shapes, but you will always find candles there. You will always find a little icon in there. And, that's funny because this is what it looks like in Greece and Eastern Europe, like Bulgaria and where else we've seen it in Slovenia. Yeah. And almost same is true for India. But in India, these little shrines will be dedicated to Ganesh or Shiva or Vishnu or the other, Indian gods. But the idea is the same. You drive down the road. This is dangerous. So this is an opportunity for you to stop and pray, and then the god or the deity will protect you. So this is something very, very typical, like all over the world. And here, this is one of the most famous monuments in Delphi, in the archaeological site of Delphi, which is about half a mile maybe out of modern town of Delphi. And this is the reconstruction of one of the temples, which was dedicated to Athena, the goddess, Athena, the daughter of Zeus. Some Greek mythology. It was reconstructed, as you can see, about 100 years ago. And you should imagine that it is circular sanctuary, the one which is marked 5 on this picture. And the other sanctuaries, there were total 5 sanctuaries dedicated to Athena, the goddess of wisdom. She was very beautiful, very smart, and very cruel. Apparently, she was the daughter of Zeus, the god, and she had no mother because she was born out of Zeus. She was born out of his head. And she was worshipped here in Delphi, even though the main god worshipped here was Apollo, the god of sun and music and arts. So that's another angle of the stage. You can see there is a deep creek going down below, separating the slope of Mount Parnassus from the other mount, which is located right behind me, some 500 meters above sea level and some 1,500 meters below the top of the mount. So imagine snow on top. And well, there is some mystical atmosphere indeed. Well, this is, you know what this is? Well, I'm not sure you will guess, but this is actually the navel. This is the belly button of the universe. The Greek term is omphalos. You see, that's it. How did the Greek know that this is the belly button? Well, the story tells that Zeus, the main god of Olympus, he wanted to know where is the belly button of the universe. He was just curious. And therefore, he sent 2 eagles from the 2 different corners of the earth, and the eagles were flying till they found the belly button. And guess what? This is where they met. This is where they landed, and that's where they, they found the belly button. By the way, those of you who've been to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, so we have another belly button there. Inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in the old city of Jerusalem, we have another belly button. It doesn't look like this. It's just a spot, but the Christian Orthodox, they believe they know where it is. This is exactly between the tomb of Jesus and the Golgotha. All right? While the Jewish tradition, of course, is that, well, we don't call it the belly button. We call it the stone of creation, Even Ashtia. So according to the Jewish tradition, the stone of creation, the foundation rock of the universe, is on Temple Mount, right below the golden dome of the mosque, right? Just above the Wailing Wall, which means that we have different belly buttons of the same universe. So you can choose your own. Anyhow, this is what the Greek believed, and this is here in Delphi. So if they're right, we're right in the middle of everything now. This is the general view from the temple of Apollo into the creek. And right here, more or less in the center of the photo, you can see these 3 pillars which belong to the temple of Athena. We saw before from closer. Oi, sorry. Oi. Wait a minute. I lost the right album. Just a sec. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is the center. This is the center. This is the main temple, or better to say, what is left of the main, most famous, most holy, most important temple of Delphi, which was dedicated to Apollo, the god of art. And inside this temple, don't ask me where exactly, because who knows, but somewhere in that temple, somewhere at the foundations down below, there was a little creek, and from that creek, that opening in the ground, there were some mystical, magical evaporations coming, and these evaporations from down below would bring the word from Apollo, and there was an old woman known as Pythia. Pythia was the oracle. She was the one who could tell the humans the words of Apollo, the god. And so she was sitting down on a special sacred tripod, and as soon as the evaporations would cover her, she would become just a transmitter of the words of God. And so from all over the Greek world, from all over the Greek Empire, which, as you know, in the times of Alexander Macedonian, was all the way to India. So people from all over the Greek Empire would come to Delphi, to this oracle, to ask questions. And only according to her answers, things, great, important things would be done. You know, wars would start or stop. Colonies would be established. Kings were anointed, according to the words of Pythia, who used to be sitting inside this temple. You know, this is just crazy. And since she was so impossible to understand, so the monks, not the monks, sorry, the priests of the Pythia, they were the only ones who could understand what she said. And so maybe, you know, things were done by their decision rather than by Apollo's words. Who knows? Maybe people are human. But in this other way, people would come and talk to the oracle here, starting from the 8th century BCE. till the end of the 4th century. So for 1200 years in a row, people would come and question the Pythia. Not the same old lady, of course. Okay, we had many, many generations of the Pythia, but people would come and worship and ask questions for 12 centuries in a row. And then in the end of the 4th century, the Byzantine Empire, which became Christian, of course, forbade worshiping pagan gods, and that's when the temple was finally abandoned. So, that's all we have now, and this is actually a reconstruction which was made about 100 years ago. But that was once and for a long, long while the center of pagan worship. When this temple was still functioning, travelers would describe it. And we know that on the facade, there were 2 inscriptions. One was know yourself, and the other one was refrain of whatever is in access. It's not the true translation, it's just an explanation of the Greek word. I'm sure somebody can explain it better, but the idea is just take what you need and don't try to get more, which is very important, especially in our Western life when we can always have more than we actually need. So these words come from here. Well, this is my family. This is Ido and Noam and Yael in the middle. She's the little one around here. This is just a beautiful pillar. Nobody knows what it belongs to, but it was found on spot, and so it was just placed here. This is not even a sanctuary, it's a treasury. This is where the treasures which were brought by the pilgrims from Athens stored. And this is a Greek inscription bearing the name Delphi, more or less. Well, where is it? Doyirol. No, I know that there is a Delphi here, up here. Okay, that says Delphi. It actually was very easy for me to learn to read Greek because about 1/3 of the letters are same as Russian, and the other third is same as Latin, but you pronounce it different way, and the other third you just learn. And so I can read Greek, even though I don't understand what I read. And this was the second reason for us to come to Greece, is the beautiful golden autumn leaves. You know, we don't have it in Israel, almost none of it, because it's not cold enough. And I remember these beautiful golden leaves from when I was a child. You know, I was born in Russia, and we immigrated to Israel when I was 7.5 years old. And I still remember this amazing colors when green turns to yellow and rustic and red. You guys know that very well, but for me, it's something so special because we don't have it in Israel, and we always never travel this time of the year. It's always summertime or wintertime, and so I really wanted to see these leaves. And this is a I don't know the English name of the tree. I know the Russian name and I know the Hebrew name, but if somebody can help me with this, that would be great. Otherwise, it's just a huge, beautiful tree growing at the Pelion, this peninsula we visited before. Well, this is a beautiful sunset over the Aegean Sea from a tiny little mountain village called Makrinitsa, up in the Pelion. This little peninsula was populated by Greek people who fled from the Turkish invasion. There are 24 villages right now. Most of them are abandoned because it is not that far, but it's very cold, very steep, and driving for half an hour there will take you about 10 kilometers away only. And so most of these villages are abandoned today. And summertime, they are populated by tourists. Some of them are populated by ski resort people wintertime, but most of them are just, I don't know, just empty. But they're still very beautiful and very well kept. Well, just some photos of the beautiful forest of the Pelion. You know, the Pelion, I always knew that name, but that was the first time for me to visit it because the Pelion has great importance in Greek mythology, because in the Pelion, this is where the centaurs used to live. I'm not sure I pronounce it well. Centaur is the half horse, half human. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what is that, a centaur?
How do you pronounce it, Ilana?
Can someone else tell me if I'm wrong? Centaur? Is that wrong?
Centaur?
I'm not sure if I'm right. No one else.
Well, I'm not sure either. Anyhow,
that's how you pronounce it.
They are called centaurs.
I'm right. Thanks, Susan.
Yeah. Okay, but you know what I mean. Like the lower part of the body is the horse, and the upper part of the body is human, and they are fast, and they're amazing and beautiful, and they used to roar the forest of the Pelion. That's where they lived, and so ever since I remember myself, I love Greek mythology. I had this version of Greek mythology in Russian, which was printed in Soviet Union back in 1957. And the person who wrote that book, he could never imagine himself visiting Pelion, of course, and same was true for my parents and for myself. And I never actually realized that Pelion is a place. I mean, I always thought that this is part of the mythology, you know, just like the centaur. And then about a week before we left Israel for Greece, a friend of mine mentioned that they visited Pelion, and I was like, "You did what?" And she, well, yeah, and then I realized that Pelion is actually part of Greece, and that's when we decided that we must go there. So as we hiked Pelion for the last 5 days, you know, among these amazing trees, this photo was taken on a hike, which is called the Kentauros Path. And it is so easy to imagine this forest deities, this Kentauros, this nymph, this titans, you know, all these mythological creatures. I mean, they fit in there so well, and you can actually see how this mythology was born. So yeah, another photo of Volos from another part of the Pelion. This is the main, one of the 3 main ports in Greece, and this is the main port of entry to the Pelion Peninsula. And this is just a very typical beach of the Pelion. You see rocks, very steep rocks descending directly into the sea. This is the east side of the Pelion. So this is where we were sitting when my sister-in-law told us about the earthquake in Turkey. And this beach actually is facing Turkey. So, you know, if there would be a tsunami, so that's where it would be, but there was no tsunami. And the water is clear and cool and beautiful, and so many fish. And the steep cliffs, they're limestone cliffs, but they also have another type of rock, which is more typical to a Eilat Mound. And you can see the forests, which are just a few meters above the sea. So it even reminds me a little bit of the Carmel Mount, like the steep rock which comes into the sea. And well, this is, you know, this is also the Mediterranean, and it's just beautiful. Well, highly recommend it. This is another angle of another beach right nearby. And you can see that there is a cave here, right? So if you get into this cave, it seems to be impossible, but it is actually possible. So inside this cave, there is a tiny little shrine, which was inhabited by a monk, and it's full of icons and prayers and candles. And, you know, it is so amazing. I mean, nobody lives here now, but you can see that the locals come every now and then to the cave and pray. So this is another beautiful spot. And this is a path. I hope you can see that. You see, it's actually a stone paved path, which is full of fallen leaves. And these are the original stone paths, which used to connect the villages. I mean, today we have good roads, good but slow, steep roads. But in the ancient times, before the roads and before the cars, this is how the villages were connected. And so today you can hike actually the entire Pelion, hiking from one village to the other, simply following these bricks. You know, like the red cap, like I don't know. You can think of another fairy tale, but you will never be lost, because as long as you follow the bricks, you will definitely make it to a village within a few hours. That's very promising, and that's exactly what we did. We hiked from one village to the other, and this is the sunrise. Well, for some people, sunrise over the sea is nothing special, but for us, the Israelis, you know, the sea is along the west side of Israel. So we see only sunset in the sea, never a sunrise. But in this case, this is a sunrise because we're facing east here. So that was very special. And this is a photo which was taken from our balcony. This is an Airbnb where we stayed. These are my children thinking about other things they are going to do, and they are very pleased with this little beach. Well, that's another. It looks like a postcard, isn't it? But it's true. I mean, this is exactly what it looks like, and that was so great about Greek. And one more beach, and yeah, that's it. Okay, I will stop sharing. Yeah. Okay. All right. So these were the photos. Ilana, I can see you're very focused. And hey, so that's what I had to, these were the photos. This is what I wanted to share with you. And I saw there is some chat here. What does it say? The tree is 1,000 years old. Platanus tree. No, this is definitely not a platanus, because platanus I know. I can recognize when I see it. You know what? I will ask Ido to do a Google Translate for me. Just a sec. Ashur. It's Ashur. Okay. So what is? Tell us the name in Hebrew or Russian. Maybe we can translate it. Okay, Noam is working. The Russian name is Book, and the Hebrew name is Ashur. Okay, so I don't know if it does any good. Huh? Beach? Okay, so Google Translate said that this is a beach. B-E-E-C-H. Okay, whatever you say, huh? So, beach, not like beach, but beach, B-E-E-C-H. Okay, well, I'm not sure it does any good to you, but this is a very, very common. They're famous for being golden as the golden Colorado, exactly. And so there are plenty of plane trees of different kinds, and the beech tree, and few others. Oh yeah, and most of the trees around here are chestnut. So I never seen so many chestnut trees And I didn't even know, like, the chestnut, the chestnut is a nut, but it grows inside something which looks like a small porcupine of yellowish color, and then the porcupines fall off the tree on the ground, and then after a while they get open, and then you have chestnuts inside. This is something I never knew. I always bought the chestnut and I didn't know what it looks like when it's so we hike this beech and chestnut forest, just stepping on these little porcupines on the way. And then one of the Greek ladies here, she told us that you can eat them raw. You don't have to roast them. So we tried. It was no good, but you can do that. So just for you to know. But if you roast them, they're much, much better. And they are sold like all over the place. Again, it's feta cheese and honey and olive oil and chestnuts. That's what you most, probably the non-edible horse. No, the lady told us that these are the ones you were supposed, like, not that you're supposed to, but they eat them raw. So maybe it's a question of, I didn't like it, but maybe the Greek people, they like it. So we will keep roasting them. Yeah. So what, chestnuts here in New England. Okay, yeah, chestnuts are, again, this is something, in Russia, we had chestnuts, but I'm not sure whether I don't remember them, or maybe they were a slightly different kind, but these little porcupines on the ground, I never saw them. So in terms of tourism now, what is the question, Ilana?
I said, have you met any travelers from other countries?
Ilana, could you say?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Well, we actually met Israelis only.
Okay.
I mean, it is amazing. We, generally speaking, there are very, very few overseas tourists here. We saw some locals, like, local tourists from other towns, but they were Greek. And speaking of tourists, it's just the Israelis, nobody else. I mean, if you see a tourist not speaking Greek, he will speak Hebrew. That's very simple. So we, fortunately, but it is easy to understand, because for us, it's one of the 2 countries we can travel without the lockdown later, and it's 2 hours flight for us. It's very convenient. And then about 2 days ago, the Israeli government started speaking of maybe declaring Greece a red country, which is very bad. And then 3 years ago, the Greek decided that part of Greece will be red starting from now, meaning that in Athens, everything is closed besides shops, and restaurants are takeaway only, and the historical sites are closed. And same is true for the historical museum in Delphi, which is very unfortunate because they have amazing museum. So the site is open, but the museum is closed, which means that we have to be back. But it's not a big deal, because anyhow, we plan to be back, so we will. And we were told that public transport is less reliable because of the COVID, but we have a rental car anyhow, so it doesn't affect us. And the fact that there are very few tourists actually makes it more convenient, because you don't have to book ahead of time. We just, we drive, we decide, well, we want to stay here, so we stay here. And the restaurants are open, and people are very happy to have us. So it is very, actually, it's very fortunate. And the weather is amazing, because it's around 17, 18 degrees Celsius. So that's perfect for hiking. And it's sunny. It was raining tonight, but that's it. So just perfect. So guys, you're all welcome to visit. I don't know what are the laws in America now.
I don't think we are welcome to visit.
Okay.
Well, there's a question. Did you need to take the COVID test before you entered Greece?
Yeah. We had to take a COVID test within 72 hours before departure. And then we were informed that we had to be negative within 72 hours before departure. And then we were told that the Greek Hey, Neely. The Greek authorities, they randomly double check tourists. So, occasionally people are just, tested in the airport, and then they have to stay indoors for 24 hours after the test, and then hopefully they are negative again. But it didn't happen to us, so we just proved negative, and then we were free to go. You have to fill a special online form that you are healthy, you're feeling good, and this and that, before you land. And same is true before we come back. I mean, we don't have to do the test again, but we have to fill the form again to say that we still feel healthy in order to be able to, land in Israel and go home.
So you don't have to quarantine when you get back to Israel?
No. There is no quarantine when we come back, because eventually, actually this morning, we were announced by a law company that it was decided to leave Greece as a green country. So there are no restrictions for us. Okay. So hopefully, if they will not change their mind until tomorrow, 4 p.m. when we leave, so hopefully it will be okay for us.
Okay.
Hey, almost
if anyone has a question, feel free to unmute yourself.
Yeah, guys, you're so welcome to unmute yourself and to say hi. And so I will be able to see you. So you're welcome to unmute yourself and open your cameras.
Where did you fly into? Where did you fly into?
Pardon?
Which city did you fly into?
Well, we flew into Athens, from Ben Gurion Airport to Athens, and same is back. Yeah. Hey, Judy.
Where else have you been since we're now seeing you up in the mountains? Or did you go straight up into the mountains?
Yeah, we landed in Athens, and then we drove straight up to the Mount of Pelion. So that was about 5 hours long drive, which was, it is not that far, but this is very long because of the very steep roads, and it was raining and it was foggy. So that was a difficult drive. But then we just stayed for 5 days up in the Mount of Pelion. And then we were planning to leave yesterday, visit Delphi, and then keep driving to Athens, because we wanted to visit the Acropolis in Athens. But then we learned that Athens is under lockdown and the Acropolis is closed. So we didn't drive to Athens. So we stayed another day at the Pelion, and then we drove to Delphi, and here we are. And tomorrow afternoon, we will drive directly to the airport. There's nothing for us to do in Athens now, but we will be back.
So what wonderful foods have you been eating up there in the hills?
Pardon?
What wonderful foods have you been eating up there in the hills?
I can't hear you.
What kind of food have you been eating, Julia?
Oh, okay, food. Well, actually, food is a bit challenging for us around here, because me and my husband, we are vegetarian, and my kids are vegan, which makes it very difficult because, the food is mostly meat, so we were having a Greek salad, a pasta with the tomato sauce, and bread. That's basically it. And Greek salad for me and my husband. And we stayed in Airbnbs. So actually we went to a supermarket and we got some stuff and we cooked. Nothing like in terms of cooking, Greece is not the best place for vegetarians. India is much better. Well, certainly, but we didn't come to eat. We came to hike and to see the beautiful leaves and beautiful beach. So we are satisfied. We are not hungry. Don't worry. French fries are very abundant around here. So it's okay. Grapes.
Was the water warm enough on those gorgeous beaches to go swimming and snorkeling?
No, we didn't. No, we did not, because it's around, as I said, between 18 and 20 Celsius, and the water is around 17, maybe 16 degrees Celsius. Again, if somebody can convert, but this is you can go swimming. We saw people swimming, but that was too cold for us. I mean, if you come from Europe, so this is nice and warm. If you come from Israel, this is too chilly. So we just enjoyed the view, you know. We looked at fish
Julia,
and
are
the
you
other swimmers.
Julia, are you aware of the Happy Cow app?
Of the what?
Happy Cow. There's an app that will.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Of course.
Just for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, Noam is the main vegan, so he knows everything about a happy cow.
Okay.
But when it is important. But you know, when he became vegan, which was about 5 years ago, I told him that if he wants to keep traveling with us, like abroad, he cannot keep vegan abroad because that made things too complicated for us.
Oh, okay.
So he's not officially vegan, but somehow he manages most of the time. And Yael, she tries even better. But anyhow, I mean, you know, if somebody eats French fries for a week, nothing happens.
True.
So that's what
as people start leaving, Julia, do you want to tell them about next week?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I have to keep my battery. So yeah, guys, next week. Oh, well, let's start with the day after tomorrow. So
sorry.
No, I mean, it is so crazy, amazing. We are in Delphi now, and within 24 hours from now, I will be back home in Maor, and within 48 hours, we will meet again in Jerusalem. Okay, Thursday, we have a tour of the first neighborhood, which was built outside of the old city wall. I have a question about, do we keep kosher? No, the answer is not. We don't keep kosher, but I know that many people who do keep kosher in Israel, they simply go vegetarian abroad, and then at least you don't have to worry about the kosher meat. But no, I mean, if you want to keep strict kosher with a kosher certificate, it makes it way too complicated to travel. Some people do that with canned food, but no, we don't. So back to the day after tomorrow, we will be touring this beautiful, charming, first of its kind neighborhood called Mishkenot Sha'ananim, right next to the windmill, the Montefiore windmill, which is one of the main landmarks of Jerusalem. I'm sure if you ever been to Jerusalem, so I'm sure you remember the windmill. I'm trying to show you the sunset. Can you see the sunset behind me?
It doesn't look like oh, yes. Wow. Yes, we can.
Well, it's either me or the sunset, so enjoy the sunset. All right, so it's going to be a tour of Mishkenot Sha'ananim and another neighborhood nearby, a beautiful, charming, called Yemin Moshe. So we will be right next to the old city walls, but outside of the old city walls. And that's why the tour is called Breaking Out of the Walls of the Old City. So this is the day after tomorrow. It's really special and old, but not ancient. And then next Thursday, we will be visiting the old city of Jerusalem. So we will start from outside and then get inside. So this Thursday is outside of the old city. And then Tuesday, we have a presentation by Yossi Leshem, I believe. Okay. Yossi Leshem is an amazing ornithologist. He is a professor of Tel Aviv University, and he will be telling us about the migrating birds. Has about 500 million of migrating birds migrate over Israel twice a year. So Israel is the paradise for archaeologists and theologists and ornithologists. And Yossi Leshem will be speaking on behalf of the ornithologists. So this is Tuesday presentation, and then Thursday is the Jewish quarter of the old city.
Okay. Great, thank you, Julia. And then just a few notes. a few notes. One is if you want to travel with Julia in person, obviously she's our official tour guide for VFI Plus. We do have 4 dates in 2021. Who knows what's going to happen with COVID, but I am just taking names of people interested in going in 2021 on VFI Plus Advanced, 2 weeks on an Army base and traveling with Julia, or VFI Plus Archaeology, 1 week on an archaeological dig in the city of David, 1 week on an Army base and traveling with Julia. So just shoot me an email, let me know. Also, all of the YouTube videos up until now are up on VFI's web YouTube. So you just go to the YouTube and type in Volunteers for Israel. You can get to it that way. And then last, I'm getting a lot of like calls and emails of people who maybe didn't get our email. Maybe it went to spam this time. Just make sure if you don't get an email with all of the dates for the next week by Monday, let me know or let Steve know so that we can get it to you ahead of time. And if for some reason your links don't always work, hop on maybe 15 minutes early. If it doesn't work, contact us, email us, text me. I can give you my cell number. Just because once I'm moderating, it's hard for me to get people on. So just try ahead of time.
Okay.
And thank you so much, Julia. I put the link at the top in case anyone wants to make a donation to Julia or send it to Steve, which will go to Julia. Julia, just so you know, the tour of the Chaim Weitzman house was amazing. He was a wonderful tour.
I saw about 5 minutes of it and I thought it was great.
He was amazing. He's from New York and he was using all the Yiddish words we all know, and he was great. We can't wait to visit, but we missed you there.
I missed you guys, but it was it didn't work. I don't know. I managed to log in. It's like being too late, and then for 5 minutes, and that's it. But okay. But next time, Yossi Lesham's presentation, I will not miss for anything. It's
okay. We handled
one.
it. Don't feel bad. I'm just letting you know.
Okay. And Ilana, thank you so much for being there, and everybody, thank you so much for joining me in Delphi.